Ladies and gentlemen, this is Scott with Birdsong Guitars and High Five Basses and SD Curly USA and all sorts of sundry other fun, handcrafted musical instrumentary sort of things happening in the hill country of Texas. Today I'm going to answer a few frequently asked questions. So we're going to, real quickly, we're going to go through strings, trades, and getting started. Okay? Strings. What strings come on my instrument, and why won't you put the, Super Deli Pack 43 gauge hand wound custom Strongylocentrosis strobachiensis on that I really like on my P bass? Well, because I don't know what they sound like. And if I'm going to send you the best instrument that I can, I mean deeper than just having the strings you want or this or that, I'm going to make the instrument great. And so if I'm going to dial that in for you at the end, I can't be guessing whether what I'm hearing, when I'm setting it up, when I'm adjusting the pickups. When things are happening with your instrument in here in a very intimate way, I can't be guessing as to whether or not what I'm hearing or aspects of what I'm hearing come down to an unknown set of strings. Same way I couldn't do that if I was running through different amps every time. I'm not hearing the bass. I'm hearing the whole thing then. Whereas I run through the same amps all the time. They're invisible to me. I've been running through them for years. I put the same strings on everything. Not the same strings on everything, but I consistently use for the different types of strings sets that I've used for years. I push what I like. I equip them with what I think are the best. They bring the best out in the instrument. They bring the best out in my ears when I'm trying to set them up. So, with that caveat, here is a list of what strings your recent instrument, probably the last several years, has come with. On bass, round wounds, Kurt Mangan. C-U-R-T-M-A-N-G-A-N. Kurt Mangan is a great guy. I can call up his company and talk with him the same way you can call up my company and talk to me. Any questions or concerns? That's important to me in this day and age. His strings are fantastic. They're extremely consistent. I like the 45 to 105 nickel wound for the 4-string basses. You can even call up and request the Birdsong Guitars set, and they might even know what you're talking about, which is kind of cool. These are also what I equip the E, A, D, and G of the 5-string bass, but you'll need to, on the side, get some 130 gauge B strings from them. That's what's on those. Okay? If you like flat wounds, we go for Diodario Chrome's ECB 82. These are all standard length strings. I know it's weird to think about using standard length strings on short scale basses or medium scale basses. It's just what we equip them with. I designed these so that you could find your strings or something close to your type of strings anywhere. You don't have to search around for weird little strings. So ECB 82, Diodario Chrome's, medium gauge, 50 to 105. Love them. Bright, a little on the tight side for flat wounds, which I like too, given that we're working with short scale basses. Wonderful strings, love them. My personal strings on my personal instrument, I play flats, I play these. Other makers, including Kurt, make very nice flat wounds as well. This is just what I put on from the buffet of life onto my plate, that's all. I like these, okay? If you want tapes, Fender 9120. This is my favorite tape wound string. They are, again, a little tighter than other tapes. They have a good definition. I don't ever want to lose that, but they get you way, way, way into the upright bass sounding territory on a fretless instrument. Fender 9120Ms, mediums. Good stuff. On guitar, let's see, if you like flats on guitars, again, Diodario Chrome's 11 gauge, 11 to 50. That's what I would put on there. If you just talking regular electric guitar use, I go for a 10 to 46 gauge. Kurt Mangan, nickel wound electric guitar strings, awesome stuff. And if you have sweat stronger than yak piss, I would probably suggest you go with a stainless steel wound string, also by Kurt Mangan. These will last a little longer. They're a little more resistant to tarnishing and getting all cheesy and stalactites and stuff like that. So anyway, there you have it. There's the strings. Now, let's move along. Trades. I get asked a lot about trades. I realize what I make costs a pretty penny. It costs a pretty penny to make. There's lots of labor involved. I can't make you a real cheap instrument, okay? So when it comes time to affording one, I do get asked about trade-ins and things like that. I'm really not a retail store, so I really have no way of getting rid of what you trade in, and there isn't going to be a lot of movement, room in there for me to have some movement, so that, you know, so I can make something for my time that doing all of those gyrations would be causing me to do, taking me away from building basses. So between the time element and just the, you know, the way the numbers add up, I really don't do a lot of trade-ins. I do trade-ins on Birdsongs and stuff that I've built on newer things. We could talk about that. That'd be as fair as I can with you on that, definitely. But as far as, like, you know, the Beetle Bomber number 143 with the, you know, super hypochondriacal pickup, it's just not anything I'm going to be able to find that market for. I know people that are looking for Birdsongs. That said, I have a Jones for archtop jazz guitars, and so, you know, I would consider trades on some archtop jazz guitars, and, you know, that's interesting. Or, you know, I really would like a 77 or 78 Trans Am, so, you know, if you got one of those bitches, give me a call. Anyway, so let's see, getting started, moving along here. Getting started, I always get asked questions, how do I break in, how do I do it? I've answered this before. The main, most basic question I can tell you is enter into it for the right reasons. Don't think you're going to get rich doing this. You're not. Look at me. I'm not out buying Trans Ams. I'm begging you for one. So, you know, that's just is what it is. But the main thing is to be in it for the right reasons, be in it for the passion of working with the wood, taking this beautiful, sacred, natural material and investing your own influences and thoughts and feelings and concepts of design and your sweat and your blood and sometimes your tears into this transformation by which it goes from becoming what used to be a tree into a flat board into something that's going to sing for the rest of its life and probably outlive you. That's a big, heavy thing to be involved in, and you got to be involved in it for that purpose, and also because it's it might be what you add up to skill-wise, interest-wise, this helping this transformation happen, and also be in it for service. You know, realize that you are taking these tools of creation and putting them into people's lives, and that's a magical thing when you find something that inspires you and resonates with you. And that's what you are helping to create for other people if you do what I do. So you got to take that aspect of it very ceremonially and very seriously, and bring your highest to it. And that's the main thing, is to have your life in order first before you think this is all going to magically fall into place to where you can pull this off, or God forbid, you know, make a living at it, you know, which is just, the odds are astronomical on that. Same thing as making a living as a band. But you got to be in it for the right reasons. You got to be in it steadfastly, okay? I'm going to read something to you. I'm writing a book. Well, I've written a book. I'm working on that. But artists, so be in it for the right reasons. Be steadfast. Have a concept of service, that you're serving. Lose yourself in that service, okay? But also understand that it's a commitment. It's not going to happen part-time. Artists and craftsmen often operate with no exit strategy or plan B, and though in a tactical sense this is poor planning, it's also why some of us succeed. Though my path changed chapters over time and evolved in unforeseen ways, it has been one path, and my best and at times only option has been to keep walking it. If you have to return to a normal life, a 9-to-5 job, and pack it in, do so knowing you chased a dream and did your best, or most only dream about it. In a world of talkers, you dared to do. A calling came and you rose up and answered. There are no guarantees. But if you're so gifted with the way and have the will, don't ever just settle in if there's a chance and a dream and the passion to fuel it and you haven't gone for it. And if that's you, and you never tasted the fruits of such a pursuit because you did not rise to follow, then go about your way with humility. Don't dare criticize those who failed trying or fell actually doing something. This is not your book. So in other words, if you feel called to work with the wood, or to work with a paintbrush, or to work in physical therapy, or to work in the arts or the services or the humanities in any way, if you feel called, answer that call. Answer that call and see where it takes you. That's my advice for whatever it's worth. And that's the only advice I've ever followed, and it worked for me. So your mileage may vary, but I wish you the best. Thanks so much for being interested in what I and the hands that helped me do with Birdsong and High Five and all this other stuff. And special thanks to Camera Chris, sitting back there behind the camera, for shooting all these goofy videos and getting them out to you folks so that they can inspire and educate and enlighten, I hope, in some small way. Thank you so much. 512-395-5126. Scott@birdsongguitars.com is my email. Get in touch. Let me know what you think. Take care.